It's episode 11, Paul. It's episode 11. I'm Jake. That's Paul. We're here with Better Life, and we're talking about how wrong as fuck Paul was last week, and how much of a dancing through the field of right that I am this week. I'm just frolicking through the flowers of correctness, while you lay in the sea of wrong and sink to the bottom, and I frolic through the flowers. How's Illinois doing?
We're going to have to talk about curses. We're going to have to talk about if this podcast is cursed.
It's not cursed. You're just wrong.
I am going to put the blame generally over the podcast. But maybe Iowa and Illinois did not perform up to, what I thought they would.
No, they didn't.
But, yeah, I mean, I think the bigger thing is what has the Big Ten done for this tournament?
That's another good one. When you were talking to me, Big Ten's not the best one. How many of them are taking home the L? How much of the Big Ten just went out the back door in a dustpan?
They could have put 40 Big Ten teams in there, and none of them would have survived.
Dude, the Big Ten looked stupid. Okay, because I chose Wisconsin to win it all, and then they went ahead and just fucking shat the bed. So, don't get me wrong, I have some wrong ones too. My bracket's busted as a motherfucker. But at least I wasn't so confident in Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, they got taken to the paint by Loyola. That was an adult. That was a big man game. Loyola came in with the blessing of Sister Jean, and I believe that's her name, Sister Jean. That 100-year-old woman who blesses them every single game.
I think so.
And yeah, it was rough, but that's what you love about the NCAA bracket. And not only was I wrong about everything, but I was right about one thing, which is Abilene Christian beat Texas.
You were so right, dude. You were actually 100%.
Abilene Christian, baby.
There was one more. There was one more that you got right. You got, I think you got Texas South over Michigan State. Or no,
yeah.
What was it? Michigan. What was it?
But Abilene was the 14 over the 3.
Yeah.
And that turnover game, that's what I'm saying. That's what wins you big. And then they ended up turning around and losing by 20. So
it kind of reminded me. Do you remember, like, back when I was in college? I went to the University of North Dakota. And we made it to the March Madness bracket for the first year ever. And we're in the bracket, we're in the tournament, and our first team is Arizona. And we're like, let's go! And Arizona put in, like, their fucking third string and just played schoolyard basketball. And just they didn't want to throttle us that bad. It was funny. We're in it, and we're like, North Dakota, let's fucking do this! And then we get in, and Arizona just basically plays with us like dead food. Like,
that's the funniest thing is I'm watching this Abilene Christian game. I'm like, did I go to summer camp with that guy? That's the beauty of this tournament is, and we talked about in the last podcast, where you only have to beat the team once. Chuck 23s. Sometimes you make 15 of them, and then you're up by 45. Like, game's over.
Oh, guess what, dude? I got a text from my agent.
What did he say?
He said, quote, the flyer and website are updated. Share the shit of this for me. I prefer you guys make a little video and promote it if you can. Whatever. This is 100% not being postponed. It's 100% happening. Have your confidence in putting your name on it and telling your fans about it. Blah-de-blah-de-blah. I've got to be on TV shows and radio interviews soon, I guess. And, so May 22nd is the date for the pay-per-view, and the people are like, why is it May 22nd? Why so late? Because that is what the state of Nevada is saying that we have. It is what it is. We don't, I don't know, because we apparently live in an authoritarian regime now. That's because we just can't do anything without asking permission, so.
And COVID is the authoritarian dictator?
No, my governor, who gets caught all the time not following protocols, is the guy who I'm talking about. The guy who's constantly at dinners and shows and having a great time, and then tells everyone else they can't be at dinners and shows.
Correct. But let's get back to what we're doing here.
We are. We're on track.
I do have to feel that, by far, Loyola versus Oregon is, like, the greatest mismatch in this Sweet 16 at 8 versus 12.
It is going to be interesting. This is a good Sweet 16, though, man. This is a good year for basketball. If you, like, first of all, there are 0 brackets remaining in any pool from CBS, ESPN, Fox News, or not Fox Sports, Yahoo Sport. All those 0 brackets are left. No one has any of them right anymore. Everyone's done. So if you lost, don't feel bad. Nobody won.
Well, I mean, one of those is Syracuse over West Virginia, 11 over a 3 seed. Like,
Yeah.
what? Who was picking Syracuse? Like, anybody? Anyone want to stand up? This guy. He shows the bracket.
Yeah, your boy did. So, anyway, other than me, I don't know anyone else. But I did call it.
The only other talking point that we can have is, very broad spectrum, radio guys. Not even radio.
This is not radio. How dare you lower us to that level of fucking FM AM radio?
You know what I mean by that. We're not
73?
digging into the depths of the bracket. We're not showing the spreadsheets. We're just, doing talking points.
I wasn't showing a spreadsheet. This is my bracket. That is absolutely busted these days. See, you guys can see the orange is wrong. The yellow, so like first round and second round, we're looking solid. And then as we get in towards the Sweet 16, we're looking at a lot of wrong.
This reminds me of when I was 15 years old, and I was dating a girl named Colleen, and she won the March Madness bracket that I had with my basketball team and all of their girlfriends and everyone who was involved, because she decided to pick the schools that had the nicest weather, the places she would rather go to.
Yeah, it's proof that
totally
it doesn't matter.
absolved of basketball. And she won.
Yeah,
and since then, I mean,
yeah, you could
I don't
flip
even
a
know.
coin and have
I mean, we've got VCU versus Oregon, 10 versus a number 7, and VCU is just out of the game because of COVID.
That. I just think too, like once you get past the first round and even the second round, like if you didn't have those picks correct in the first, second round, you're done. Because by the time you get to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8, like you're fucking, you gotta, like let's say you picked the one wrong team, and then that wrong team, the team that beat them, also won that round. Well, then you've just lost the whole both of that whole bracket right there is gone. Nothing goes forward there. So it's like you can fuck up once and it fucks your bracket for the whole tournament.
It's been rough. I mean, I've got a coworker who is going to Vegas right now for March Madness. I'm like, don't spend $1 on this tournament. Go there and pay slots and watch the game because you will lose every single dollar in this cursed bracket.
There's a lot of people here who have lost a lot of money on March Madness here in Vegas this year. Let me tell you how many pissed off people in the MGM Sportsbook I've seen.
It's insane.
Dude, know what's a really good... Because, number one, our biggest listener following is here in Vegas.
Holla.
The coolest sportsbook I went to is fucking Circa. It's a brand new casino, and it's downtown. It's not on the Strip. Holy shit. It's 21 plus, so there's no 18-year-olds walking around with cigars in their mouths. It's great. It's everything you could have ever dreamed of. And, dude, you should come sometime.
I should.
You should come down here. Have you ever been to Vegas before?
I've been to Reno.
No. I said Vegas, not fucking fuckboy town.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's B-list.
Reno smells like a fucking cooter. Like, it smells so bad in that town. My brother lives there. It smells horrible. It smells... I've lived in Grand Forks.
I was there for a volleyball tournament.
Yeah.
I spent, 4 days.
How'd it smell?
We actually, I didn't smell anything because day one we actually got wiped out by a sandstorm that took out the electricity in the building.
Oh, good. That's solid. That's good.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. It was probably 20 minutes or whatever, but definitely not, a place to live when sandstorms are wiping out your electricity.
No, my brother wants to get the fuck out of there. He literally, when he graduates, he wants us to have his fucking U-Haul truck running behind the graduation stage, and, so he can leave stage and get the fuck out of Reno. He doesn't want to even take a shower. He wants to leave in the robes. Just gone. Bye. Fuck you. I'm out of here.
Man, that would be a sight.
He's done. Dude. I want to talk to you about fucking Dana White. And
what about him?
The UFC pricing model. And I want to talk about why the fuck Dana White is still talking about piracy issues in the UFC when he knows good and goddamn well what his problems are in the UFC. What are you complaining about, Dana? What do you complain? Here, I did some
Well,
math.
it's like, is he gonna act like Disney doesn't own the pay-per-view right? Like, okay, so when they signed the deal to ESPN, ESPN is owned by Disney, for those that don't know. If you're gonna say that Mickey Mouse doesn't have knuckles cracked over tables over piracy, you think Dana's gonna do it? Dana's like a D-list goon when it comes to what Disney is capable of.
At the most.
So when we're looking, like, I've bought ESPN pay-per-view. I bought a bunch of them. I've had problems. I've had to reload my page. I've had to buy early, reload late, a few minutes late. I get it.
Did some math.
But we're talking about unprecedented volume.
I did some math here. So for the UFC Fight Pass, that's $9.99 a month. For ESPN Plus, that's $5.99 a month. For the pay-per-view event, that's $70 every time, and there's about 16 of those per year. So every year, it costs you about $1,300 to be a UFC fan. And they're wondering, why is it we have such a piracy issue? Because it costs more than an arm and a leg to be your fan. Everyone else is a fan of their team because you can turn on basic fucking cable on Channel 3 and watch your local football team play.
Well, it used to be fun when I could buy the pay-per-view at home for the cards I really cared about, and then go to like Buffalo Wild Wings with my friends,
anymore,
or
those days are gone.
Tilted Kilt or whatever.
Right, not anymore.
But yeah, I mean so there's a deal when you sign up for a year membership. It's $80. You get the year, you get the pay-per-view, and that's all fun and games. And I've done that twice, so I can't really complain. But it's interesting, that pay-per-view model. I wish they would go to a WWE model, where if you had ESPN Plus, the pay-per-view would be discounted like $30.
Yeah, but if you're
$40,
already paying for it, why the fuck am I paying for it again? Fuck you. Fuck
$80 is rough.
No, it's fuck you, man. Like, you want me to pay for
That's
this
rough.
again? I already paid for it. I'm not paying for this again. I'm like, what is that new movie that Disney's coming out? You can like. You can watch it early for $40 on your Disney Plus if you stream Disney Plus, and it's like, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm not paying you $40 more for this fucking movie. I'm already paying you every month for streaming like, I don't think these companies realize, man.
Yeah.
I will get right back onto my pirate ship and sway through these seas and start downloading your shit illegally again. You think you have this shit on lock? Like, you have no idea. I could just play your movie and turn on a screen recorder and then just crop out the red edge, and I have a perfectly adequate HD film that I just took from you, and I'll just send that out to all my friends. Like, the power is not in their court, and they think it is. And it's like, I'll just get right back. I'll put on my pirate hat, I'll put on my eye patch, and I'll fucking get out here with my parrot, and I'll just start downloading all your shit again. LimeWire, Napster, you think that came around because prices were cheap in the entertainment industry? Like, no, you're doing it to yourselves. So, fuck off.
No, and what's funny is, so obviously we don't condone any of this.
No, this is all, I'm just saying, theoretically, like, what is stopping someone from just pirating all this shit?
Yes, well, there's also a conversation to be had that maybe piracy helps.
We did.
You have a brand, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and let's say 80%, and obviously we're going to hand wave here, 80% of your fans buy the pay-per-view. 20% pirate it. Those 20%, they still tell their friends. They still have their friends come over. Mm-hmm. They're not watching this in secrecy by themselves.
Right,
in
like
a
blanket for
monastic lifestyle.
Right.
No, and that's the thing. So piracy, as much as we don't want to talk about it, as much as we want to say it takes away dollars, it takes away jobs, it takes away this, that, and the other. Every Dick, Jane, and Harry. That pirates, they're awful people, but yeah, I mean, it promotes the brand in a lot of ways, and you got to respect it, especially when Dana's going to come out there and talk about having, massive piracy issues. When he's sitting next to Habib Nurmagomedov with his phone flashing at the cage. You have Habib literally on camera videotaping all of the fights. Like, where are those NFTs?
Oh, no, you'll never...
Where are those
First of all,
Habib NFTs?
Is it Habib
Any
or
of
is
those?
it Khabib?
Both of them.
Well, what does he say?
Habib.
Okay, then it's Habib. It's not both. Whatever he says his name is what's correct.
Correct.
It's not both. That's not that's not at all right. What are you talking about, both? That's like when ESPN used to call Terrell Owens Tyrell Owens. Would you see a Y in there? It's Terrell. It's not Tyrell. Like, the fuck did you read? No. No, I get it. It's almost like one of my friends, he got in trouble for... People who were in the hacking industry know back in the day, there was a group called Xbox Underground, and you probably remember this. Back when the original Xbox was coming up, there was a kit that you could get, and it was called a dev kit, and you would be able to like go onto like the Xbox Live that developers would be on and download any games that you want. So they downloaded a shitload of free games and all this other crazy shit, and blah blah blah. It got really out of control, but at the end of the day, my buddy gets raided by the FBI at gunpoint because obviously it's really important that we get these games back with as much firepower as possible. And one of the guys who was raiding him was like, "Oh, dude, he found this Raspberry Pi, which is just a small little computer, and you can do like all sorts of like I have two of them. They're running random programs on my network, but you can set them up for like the old Nintendo Entertainment Systems and like play Super Mario and stuff." And one of the FBI guys was like, "Oh yeah, my buddy does that. It's got all these whatever, and it's really fun." And my buddy's like, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that's called. I'm pretty sure that Nintendo owns the rights for that, and that's piracy as well. Why aren't you being raided?" And his supervisor steps up and, "Hey, we're not talking about that right now. We're here for your stuff." It's like, well, there you go. You fucking did the exact same thing. You just didn't know that you did it wrong. Like, okay, Xbox Underground, they physically went into the enterprise, like they stole physical access cards, walked into Microsoft, and stole an Xbox 360 from the building. So, like, yeah, much, much more severe. But the fact that you're the guy raiding somebody for stealing games, and then you yourself talk about how cool it is to steal games, like, you're a fucking moron. You're a fucking moron. And that's what Dana White looks like to me. That is literally what Dana White looks like to me. A fucking moron. And if you follow his Twitter, you'll see me in the comments. I just asked him the other day, and I got my tweet hidden. I was like, "Where'd the other 50K go from that couple weeks ago, you fucking bitch?" And I just tweeted that, and I got like 30 likes before it got fucking hidden. So, yeah, I mean, I'm starting to have an issue with Dana. Starting to have a bit of a problem with Dana. You're starting to really skip your fighters on money. Fucking, so whoever gets between a man and their paper, we have a fucking issue right here. You get between someone and their livelihood.
It's just crazy that they didn't give it to anybody. It's like we all know those bonuses are up at the end of the day. So where's that fourth one?
Yeah, act like we aren't gonna notice, you bitch. Like, shut up, shut up.
Makes you wonder. So that brings us into the last weekend's card. There were some gems. There were a lot of finishes on the prelims. Yanez looked like an absolute savage. Yanez went out there and mauled that dude, and everyone gave him kudos. But the big point of the night is Kevin Holland talking all sorts of trash for 25 minutes straight. In between rounds, he's talking to Dana, he's talking to Habib, his corners like trying to get him to focus, and he's just not paying attention. He just doesn't care.
Why was he doing that? He was literally just chilling and shooting the shit like it's lunch hour. Like, bro, you're in a fucking fight right now. You're in a fight.
So, like, a lot of people want to bring heat on him. They want to say, like, are you not the highest paid athlete? Are you this and that and the other? But it's like, what are his goals? Like, if his goals are to be a top 10 middleweight in the UFC, he is already. Like, not everybody wants to be champion. You think Donald Cerrone wants to be champion?
No, but at least if you're going to go on there and you're going to perform for millions of dollars, you better fucking at least pretend to give a shit in the ring.
Yeah, but he also charged people $80 on pay-per-view to get shoulder striked by Conor. Like, at least Kevin Holland put 25 minutes in. At least he gave a performance.
But you're almost just proving my point of how overpriced and ridiculous the UFC can be to be a fan.
Well, yeah, exactly. So we don't have to get back on that subject. But what I'm saying is, like, a lot of people are super hard on fighters for no reason other than selfishness when it comes to entertainment. Like, if you had a bet slip with Kevin Holland on it, I'm sure you were yelling at the TV. But it's just like, I don't know. I've rolled in, jiu-jitsu classes and everything. There are guys that talk all sorts of shit to me. And they would say also, oh, you're getting tired. Oh, you're this and that. But it's just, it's all ego. It's all gamesmanship. It's this, that, and the other. So it doesn't really surprise me. What surprised me is his coaches couldn't get him back under control. His coaches are trying to talk to him, and he's like still talking to Habib about how he wants Habib in his corner. And you're like, okay, all right.
Well,
so it's it's top 10. He's not a top 5 guy as of now, but he's top 10. Maybe he learns from it. Maybe he grows. He's got a ton of talent. He hurt Brunson in the second round, so maybe maybe he can grow.
When we were on the phone, I was like, "Did you see the UFC's post when they're like with the UFC finally acknowledging that Habib is retired?" And you're like, "Yeah, fucking 2 years late or whatever the fuck it was." Like, so like what's the deal? So like does Habib still have the belt? Like, is it still his at the moment?
No, it's been stripped. The lightweight title is vacant. His last fight was in October.
Okay,
so in his mind, he's been retired for 5 months.
So basically, when he retired, the belt became vacant.
It should have been, but the UFC strung this narrative along about how Habib may come back. He might come back if the right challenger comes up. Habib comes back, but he's in his mind where he's been. He even had interviews saying that he's been retired for 5-6 months.
Yes.
So the UFC kind of got caught with their pants down. I don't blame the UFC because he's a giant star. Like, Habib is an international star. So I understand why you want to keep the rub and the shine on the lightweight division as opposed to, I don't know, Charles Oliveira or Michael Chandler. Like, if you want to rank Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler, they're right here. If you want to take Conor versus Habib 2, which could have happened, don't get me wrong, we were one fight away from that happening. We're just taking all the money. That's all the pay-per-views. That's everything. We're out of frame. We're going to the moon. It's the crazy.
We're out.
Like, you can't blame the UFC for wanting that to happen.
No.
Like, you can talk about meritocracy. You can talk about, like, oh, well, who deserves what? But it's like, if we're talking about dollar bills at the end of the day, Habib vs. Conor 2 was the match to make till the end of time. And it's not going to happen anymore. So it's all over. So we're going to have Chandler versus Oliveira as the rightful championship fight. Dustin and Conor can smack each other around if on pay-per-view if they want.
I'd say that's like what all the comments are saying. Like, on all their posts, it's like Dustin in the corner, and it's just like a picture of SpongeBob at the party standing by himself in the corner. Everyone else is having a good time, and Dustin's by himself. It's
Yeah, Dustin made the right decision. Forget the belt. He's had an interim belt. He's played the game. He's been in the UFC plenty long. He doesn't owe anybody anything. So it's time he got paid for the Conor fight, but it's definitely a little irritating that they priced themselves out in one sense, because at the same time, you're not going to tell me that Poirier versus McGregor wasn't going to go for the vacant belt.
I know.
That was going to go for the vacant belt.
Right.
But they priced themselves out, and Chandler and Oliveira took it for a hot dog. Like, they took that fight for essentially nothing.
Yeah, but because they wanted the fight, not the fucking...
Well, they understand that the belt means more to them than the... So the brand means more to them than the brand means to, say, Poirier or Conor. Like, Conor might be bigger than the brand. He's got his whiskey, he's got his fighting, he's got boxing.
If he's bigger than the brand, but he does have his own competing industry. I do get what you mean by that.
And Poirier's got a hot sauce. Like, so he sees the writing on the walls. He sees everything outside of fighting.
Why does everybody make a fucking tequila or some shit when they're like... Kevin Hart's got his own tequila now? What, you saw The Rock do it? So now you've got to fucking make one? Like, it's just like everyone feels like they need to have their own line. It's like, what are you, Kylie Jenner? Well, you've got to have your own makeup.
Jorge Masvidal's got a tequila.
Why?
The mezcal.
Fucking stop. Not all of you need to have a tequila, and not all of you need to have a podcast. Like,
Darren Till with the Raw Dog beer.
Like, do you know what it takes to run this podcast stuff? A lot. So, like, if you're the fucking dude who's just on an iPhone and you're just like, oh, just fucking stop. Just not everyone needs a podcast. Not everyone needs a tequila brand. Not everyone needs to have a fucking hot sauce or a makeup brand. Just fucking do your job and fucking leave. Like,
Well, it's
you know what my brand?
microcultures.
Well, you know what my brand has? T-shirts that I sell and like hats and sweatshirts. Like that's what I've got. And I don't even like
should get a
calling
whiskey.
it. I don't even like calling it a brand because I feel disgusting saying I have a brand. Like, what am I, Gap? What am I, the fucking American Eagle? Like, no, I sell T-shirts and shit. You know.
You could be.
You know, the only business that I understand at this point is Seth Rogen's houseplant because he's been talking about that for like 20 fucking years. I get it, but like literally the Tremana, is it Terramana or is it Tremana? The Rock's tequila.
I don't know. It's
Either way, like that comes out, and then 2 months later, here comes fucking Kevin Hart. Hey y'all, it's Kevin Hart, and I'm out here to tell y'all about my new tequila. Like Kevin, we know what you're doing. You're trying to be The Rock so goddamn bad. But
Yeah, I mean,
aren't.
even Floyd Mayweather has Smiley's, CBD, and everything. I mean, these are all cash outs.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't blame anybody.
I do.
I don't
It's
blame
fucking
anybody
annoying.
for doing it.
I do. I blame them 100%. Not everyone needs to be involved in fucking everything. If you're not good at it, get the fuck out. And I'm sorry, but I don't see Kevin Hart's tequila brand fucking sending it. What are you, Mexican now? You raised you grew all those plants all your whole life? Like you know how to get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. It's clearly what you're doing is copying other people, and it's really getting old. Like, if you have a brand that like, Joe Rogan's got On It. That makes total sense. That guy's a fucking meathead. Seth Rogen's got his weed company. Makes total sense. Seth Rogen has made 20 movies about being high. Like, you know? But if you're a fucking stand-up comedian, you have absolutely no business heading out to Mexico to open up a tequila business. Like, what are you doing? You're trying to be The Rock. You're trying to be The Rock, and stop pretending you're not. I didn't mean for this to be a bash Kevin Hart session, but it's like, what is going on?
What is the stay in your lane conversation, right?
It for sure is the stay in your lane conversation. I mean, I'm not here to tell everyone, oh, don't chase, do what you want, but be, like, it just seems to me that they're just trying to scoop up as much of the industry as possible. It's like, leave some food for the other guys. You know, it's you don't need to eat the whole buffet. Not everyone wants to see Kevin Hart's face on fucking everything. We just, like, you know, he's funny, and I do like him. He's a good guy. Like, I'm not saying, I don't mean to bash on him. He just happens to be the latest prime example of someone doing something really stupid. Like, it makes no fucking sense. If he started, like, or like he wrote children's books and shit, it's like, what are you, Donald Driver? You're writing children's books now? Like, Kevin Hart's writing children's books? Get the fuck, you should not be writing to children. Kevin Hart has no business talking to kids. You know? You just don't. You just don't.
Maybe it could be a good book.
Should I open a preschool?
Yes.
No, absolutely the fuck not. It'd be like if I open a preschool. It'd make no sense. Everyone would be like, why is he opening a preschool? Like, what? Or like,
Because you believe in children.
Okay, but that doesn't mean I'd have to open it's not my job to open the preschool. I'm a stand-up comedian. Like, that's not what comedians do. Comedians don't write children's books because we're not the people for that. We're just not. Comedians are not the people to be spreading the message of hope and joy to children across the globe. That's not. It's just not. And everyone's like, "Oh, come on, man! You can be a positive comedian." I've listened to all of your shit, and all of you do negative shit too. So shut the fuck up.
Oh my god.
Well, isn't it annoying when he's like, because being a comedian is just mostly negative. Like, let's be honest, it's about finding the
Well,
problem.
I get it. It's about, becoming mainstream, and then you gotta lighten up.
Well, like, lighting up is like, because I'm half my jokes are light spirited and half them are fun, like whatever. But like, if you're the type of person that goes around and starts like, whenever someone else says something that's negative, and you're like, oh, you gotta cheer up, man, life gets good. What are you, Oprah Winfrey? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, get out of here.
Doing donations.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Give me a 20 or leave my face. Like, you know what make my day better? Cash. So, hand me cash or leave, because that's the only thing that's going to help me today. Oh, that's not? Good. Bye. Bye. I'm poor, bitch. I need money. I don't need your cheerful attitude. I need cash. You know?
But, no, it's gonna make us some cash, though.
I'm going to guess you're talking about Giuseppe and Riddell?
Oh, no. We're going to talk about these informal tournaments that the UFC is running right now. So Bellator does bracketed tournaments.
I thought, never mind, I'm way off.
Yeah, the UFC does these bracketed Bellator does these bracketed tournaments where you could see the 1 seed, the 8 seed, and the belt gets transferred throughout the entire bracket.
Right.
But the UFC is doing this crazy thing right now where you've got Whitaker versus Kelvin. It was supposed to be Whitaker versus Costa, but Costa is having COVID issues.
Is he actually
Vettori
having COVID
is fighting
issues, or is he just testing
they
positive?
came out. They said COVID.
Okay.
They've got Vettori versus Darren Till, and then you got Derek Brunson, who just beat Kevin Holland, and all of those guys are in the top 8. Heavyweight was in a similar situation last week with, Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis, Gane versus Rosenstrike. Those guys were in a tournament. Bantamweight in the next month is going to have another tournament with TJ versus Corey, Garbrandt versus Font, and then obviously Eljo versus Jan in the rematch for the belt. But it's very interesting how the UFC is doing this, where they're just putting it's like they're putting divisions on the line within a month.
Yeah. It's quick. It seems like it's one after, like, fucking whoever.
It's good matchmaking, what it is.
Does Dana get directly involved in matchmaking, or does he have like a team that does it for him?
He has a team. It used to be Sean Shelby and Eric Silva, or no, Joe Silva. Eric Silva's a fighter. Joe Silva, but Eric Silva used to be a welterweight. He lost to Matt Brown. He got cut from the UFC.
I actually watched a video of him in his last fight when he got taken down. He was just bawling on the octagon floor because he kind of just knew his career was over. It's like that fucking moment would just be the worst when you get beat and you know your career is done. You know it.
Poor guy.
Fuck, man.
But, man, I mean, so we're watching all these informal tournaments happening, and we're going to see the rankings shuffle in the next month. We're across multiple divisions, and it's very exciting.
So tomorrow, the 25th, is going to be, it's the Stipe and the Ngannou press conference. Do you think we're gonna have like a fucking Floyd Mayweather type situation where what's his ass is just chewing his, like, where's the fuck you? Conor McGregor's like, fuck you.
We're going to be very confused about who speaks better English between Stipe and Francis.
Do you think it's going to be directly just towards the press, or do you think they're going to shit talk each other?
I think Tyron Woodley will have his moment. If they put Sean O'Malley up there, he'll have his moment. But, yeah, that's about it. They usually don't put more than, 6 people up there for the presser.
I'm just excited to see. Like, it's fun watching the fighters just sit down, and because they're not press conference people at all. Like, at all. They fucking learn to kill people. They don't learn how to talk on TV. So, like,
I mean, the OG of it was Nick Diaz, and Nick flat out didn't show up to a press conference, and Dana canceled the pay-per-view that week.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, he was like, Nick can't show up to a press conference, then we can't do it.
Why?
It was a trust thing. I don't know if there were contracts. I don't know if there were dollars on the line, but Nick just didn't show up to the press conference, and they canceled the whole thing.
Was he doing like a? Was that during? Who was it from the Seahawks that used to just? Marshawn Lynch.
Oh no! I mean, we're talking about like, oh my gosh, like 2009.
Oh, we're going back. Like that's like 12 years ago back.
Yeah. But it is interesting. I mean, obviously, we can't talk about this card without, talking about the giant elephant in the room, which is Ortega versus Volkanovski, which got postponed due to COVID.
Yeah.
And if you dig into it, Brad Riddell from last week got pulled from the card due to COVID, and Brad Riddell is Volkanovski's coach. So those two guys got pulled simultaneously. It's super frustrating. It's one of those things. So you obviously look to the future. Where does Ortega and Volkanovski land? It probably lands on the Chandler-Oliveira fight.
That'd be sweet.
In May on 262. So that's probably where it lands. But it's not going to be on 261 in Florida. You've got Usman versus Masvidal 2. You've got the girls' fight between Rose and Wei Lee. And then you've got the flyweight fight between Andrade and Valentina. So it's not going on that card. It's not going on 261. And it's not going on free TV.
No.
So 262 it is.
Unless 262 comes out and they're like, nope, not going on 262. You gotta wait till 264. And then we're here in November talking about it.
I mean, that would be hilarious if we were here in November talking about this fight that hadn't happened, and Max Holloway is just somehow still in the waiting.
I mean, I'm still here talking about my goddamn pay-per-view event that was supposed to be November 11th.
Also true.
So, here we are. How many months is that? 5?
Yep, that's 5.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. Do you know how awful it is to have a show postponed, like, 4 times, and especially for half a year? And so when it's your income, like, oh my god. People don't get it. Like, a lot of people who have, like, regular jobs, oh, you chose to be a comedian. I'll tell you what, man. When you go on Netflix, get rid of every stand-up comedian, and then you fucking come crying about it. Oh, there's no one to watch anymore. Yeah, because we all have to go get jobs. Anyway, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just like, it's frustrating how it's like people who get, like, paid every fucking Friday on time. And they're like, oh, by the way, we had to postpone your show. It's like, sounds good. I guess I'll just not eat this week. So that's fine.
Jesus.
You know, like, glad that the production company still is keeping all the money.
Well, that's why we've got alternative income sources with sports gambling.
That's why
son.
I've got full podcasts. Full.
That's it.
Spreaker, if you're listening, by the way, Spreaker and I are having some problems. Like the hosting service. So we use Spreaker as a hosting service, and then we like branch out towards then obviously we use like Apple and Google and iHeart and Spotify and like all the other hosting that like just let people stream through us. But obviously all of our revenue goes through Spreaker, and they can decide they're basically pulling a YouTube, and they're going to start deciding like what's monetizable and what's not. And it's like, hey, guess what? We're going to move hosting services then if you're going to fucking pull that shit. I'm not going to like start allowing a third party to determine what my sponsors can pay me and what they can't. And the sponsors always pay. It just determines if the creator gets it or if Spreaker determines that they have to keep it to protect us.
Yeah, that might be a good business decision.
Yeah, that's a problem. So Spreaker and I are having some discussions about that because that's bullshit and they know it. And so ever since I called them out on it too, my organic growth on Spreaker has turned to 0. They aren't sharing. None of my podcasts on Spreaker are spreading. All my spreading stuff is through other sources. So yeah, dude, it's kind of shitty when companies pull that shit. So if you're listening and you're like, you should tweet at Spreaker and be like, hey, at Spreaker on Twitter, be like, what in the fuck are you doing? And then they'll be like, oh, sorry. Hopefully. Or they'll, keep going and be dicks. So we'll go back on topic now. I didn't mean to pull everyone into a sad boy hour there. That was right into the pit. Right into the pit.
So of this card, I'm primarily excited about 4 fights. We got Francis Stipe,
yes.
Woodley versus Luque.
Yep.
Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida.
Yep.
And then Miranda Maverick versus Julian Robertson.
Yep.
All these odds relatively tight except for the O'Malley fight, and we're picking Almeida. We like Almeida. Obviously, this isn't like a pick show, but O'Malley's got some serious problems at 135.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't know if it's a durability thing. I don't know if it's a timing thing. But Almeida is very classically trained in Muay Thai. And unless O'Malley can split his timing, unless he's truly a savant of striking and he can just pick jabs apart with straight right hands, I've got a feeling Almeida picks him apart.
I think so too. And plus, that's a good pick. By the way, reminder. We were talking about earlier, we should probably put that this is not financial advice and don't fucking listen to us. We're just...
Very correct. This is 2 guys
we're just
talking about what we do with our gambling.
So please do not hey, we heard these people tell us to go all... Okay, that's what we're doing and we're stupid. So just... I unplugged my headphones right here. Now I can't hear anything. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, don't say anything yet because I can't hear you. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me? Say something.
Oh, I'm back.
Okay,
we're here.
I got excited and ripped the cable out of my headphones and went deaf. But Almeida is a plus 255, and it's there's an over-under of 1.5.
So this is what you do. You do an Almeida, Stipe, Luque parlay. It's going to be massive. I don't know what it is, but you round robin it. So you do a 2-man parlay, Luke Stipe. A 2-man parlay, Luke Almeida. A 2-man parlay, Stipe Almeida. That way, any of these fall apart, you're going to be okay. But if all 3 win,
you're gonna be in luxury though.
Group hugs.
Right.
It's high five across the room. It's you and the boys getting together.
Another reminder to everyone: MyBookie uses Bitcoin, and I love that shit.
Because I'm telling you right now, Stipe probably takes this over Francis. I know everyone wants to talk about, Stipe's getting older. Oh, Francis is so big.
Yeah,
this
but
we've talked about on this podcast.
Yeah,
but there's something not right about this.
We've talked about Ngannou before too, and we've said almost the same thing. Like even before, we've seen him fight in the past, and when you bring him up against someone like Stipe, it's just, in my non-professional opinion, he just isn't gonna it's just not gonna happen. I think the way that the fighters.
We have 10 years of footage from Stipe. He joined the UFC when he was 29, and that was I think October, September of 2010, 2011. And now we're talking about March. He's been in the company for 9 years. He's got very few losses. He's shown continual improvement. Whenever he's lost, when he lost to Stefan Struve, he came back and beat the brakes off Roy Nelson.
Right.
When he lost to Junior Dos Santos, guess what? When they fought again, he finished him within 4 minutes of the first round. This guy.
Well, he learned.
Cormier?
Yeah.
Daniel Cormier, the guy that knocked him out in the first round, knocked him out in the fourth, and then schooled him for 5 rounds the next time. The guy is the champion. We don't, and that's an intangible. And the hardest thing in sports to do, and you know this as a coach of hockey, is to beat one team twice. It's hard to do.
Very hard.
And it's just kind of one of those
can I give a quick
metaphysical things where you can't really put a number, you can't put a price tag on it, but what you can put a price tag on is Francis having an imprint of 25 minutes where he got taken to church by Stipe.
He got taken
last time.
He got taken to fucking mass services. He was on his
That was a domination.
He got slapped.
And you think Francis doesn't think about that?
No, I think he goes to bed every night thinking about that. As a man, as a fucking man, how do you get your ass whooped like that and not think about it? Especially for your job, especially in front of everyone.
And he can get over it. He can very well knock Stipe dead on Saturday night and redeem all of it. But this is what I mean. That heavyweight MMA is the creme de la creme. That is the pinnacle of the sport. I remember when people were talking about Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, 125 pounds. He's the pound for pound best. And it's what are you even saying? We have 265-pound men who are throwing down, and you're going to say that dude isn't the greatest man? He's not the best? Obviously, if you took a 5'4" man, blew him up to 6'6", then we're playing video games here. But this is what it means. Stipe beat Daniel Cormier. He beat Werdum. Stipe is on the verge of putting his face 4 times in Mount Rushmore of MMA. He could be all of the faces.
I don't know about all of the faces, but I appreciate what you're saying. I don't think he would be all.
He would be. He took out Werdum, he took out Reem, and then he would what? Oh my God! If he knocked out Francis,
when did he take out Reem?
Imagine if he knocked out Francis.
When did he take out Reem?
His first title defense in Ohio. Yeah, he knocked Reem out in the first 4 minutes.
I don't remember that at all.
And then Reem went to that was the thing that sparked the whole Joe Rogan not interviewing knocked-out fighter.
Yeah, dude. I remember.
Where Reem was saying that Stipe tapped, and then Rogan was like, "Let's go to the camera," and they had this really awkward 5-minute interview where Reem was just totally concussed.
Yeah, because his head was all fucked up.
But just imagine with me. Let's play for a second. Francis gets knocked out by Stipe.
Well,
Stipe.
It would look pretty
it's
good.
Over.
It would look pretty good on
the
your
greatest.
resume.
The greatest ever.
It would look pretty. I don't know about the greatest ever, but he would look pretty good on the resume.
Kane?
Dude, I just don't know about the greatest ever. That's a whole statement. That's a whole.
Francis,
you know how hard
do I
it
have
is
to
for people
remind
to
you that
still admit
Francis
that?
knocked out Cain Velasquez in a minute?
Do I have to remind you that Tom Brady has 7 rings and people still act like the guy just woke up this morning? And,
Oh, I mean,
like,
we're talking. Yeah,
we're just talking
about,
in general. It's hard to say like someone's the greatest of all time unless it's fucking like clear cut and in. Like,
I mean, I'm putting this in pertaining to MMA.
I'm putting this to pertain to sports, period. And
I don't like that.
Well, the way that people talk about human beings in general, I mean, we're talking about a guy, like, just anyone who dominates motherfuckers like crazy. They should, but it's hard for anyone to admit that they're the greatest of all time because you just don't know what's coming next. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna lasso this and put it only to MMA. But I mean, Miocic, man, imagine if he beats Francis by knockout and then he beats John Jones.
If he beats John Jones.
He beats John Jones.
Yeah, but if he does that, then we'd have a different conversation.
Well, it would have to happen in that sequence where he has to win this weekend.
Yeah,
and then he beats John Jones.
And then
it's over.
And then I would be fine with you saying that. I'm just saying right now.
He builds statues.
That would be fine.
Man.
Make it the Browns, and then fucking cover it in 24 karat gold. I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying that as of right now, calling him the greatest of all time, something we can
do that.
Not something we can do.
No, we can't do that yet. But it's getting close.
It's getting there.
The old lady hasn't sang, or the fat lady hasn't sang, but she's warming up.
Hey man, do you think it's gonna turn to the old lady because it's not cool to fat shame people anymore? Do you think it's gonna be like the skinny lady sings pretty soon? Because Santa's skinny now in the mall. I don't know if you saw that.
I think it could be any lady that sings.
The Santa here in the mall here. Poof. Skinny as a motherfucker. Weird, dude. Anyway,
yeah.
That's all off track.
Anyways, let's touch on the co-main event. We've got Woodley at plus 200 versus Luque at minus 255.
Yes, we do.
We like Luque. We like Luque. Woodley, he's lost 15 rounds straight. His volume's not there. His head's not there. He had a really weird Netflix special where he showed his ass on camera.
What was that? What was that fucking? What was the title of that?
Oh, I don't know what the title of the movie was, but it was very confusing.
Was that the UFC, like, the food one, when they were talking about what food they eat and shit?
No, it was a movie on Netflix. But yeah, we're just... I almost want to just pass over this because it's going to be sad. Because Woodley was one of the greatest welterweight champions of the time.
What the hell?
And he just got passed up.
Isn't he in What the Health?
Possibly. I have no idea.
They only go like vegan food as a UFC fighter, and you can kind of watch his body deteriorate. And I feel as good as I've ever felt. And this dude's like losing weight like a month, like in that keep muscle mass. Anyway.
I saw an interview with him where he was like, I wasn't in, like, those 3 fights I lost, Burns, Usman, Covington. He's like, those 3 fights, I was in those fights. I was ready to go. I could have acted. I just watched myself lose in an out-of-body experience.
Get out of here.
And I can't have that happening. It's like, hey, bud, like, it might be time to retire.
It might be time to be done, because now your neurons are just completely misfiring and you're saying stupid shit.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. It's like, I understand, like, when I played sports a long time ago, out-of-body experiences, very normal. I understand that to the end of them, but it's like, I'm not a professional athlete. I can't go home to my family and be like, hey, I had an out-of-body experience, and that's why you watched me get thrashed.
Yep.
Like, it's tough. And if Luque goes out there, Luque's not going to take him down, like Usman or Burns or Covington. Luque's going to beat the absolute brakes off him. He's going to throw jabs and low kicks, and it's going to be tough to watch Woodley not throw anything. So, it's, if there is a pick right now, it's Luque Stipe. That's the parlay. If you want to be ballsy and put Almeida on it, you can. I also like Miranda Maverick. I don't want to go too hard into that fight. I like Miranda Maverick over Robertson, mostly because I don't think Robertson has the cardio or the finesse in the grappling.
What about Jessica and Hannah? Hannah Golby? Jessica Penne?
Jessica Penne has been a staple of the women's division for a long time. She used to float between 105, 115.
They're both at minus 110 and minus 120. So like,
I don't like either fight. I think Penne could school her just with fundamentals and how long she's been in the division and just an absolute historian of women's MMA. But it's I don't know if she does it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it for MMA this weekend.
I think so.
If we want a golf pick, I don't follow golf, but I do know who are winners, and Si Woo Kim at plus 9,000 and Jordan Spieth at plus 900. Put $5 on that. Those guys at the WGC, those guys could perform. Si Woo Kim is already talking trash to Bryson DeChambeau, which I like. I like to see Kim out there. And Spieth is the greatest in the world at putting. So when it comes to these goofy events, you need someone who can putt, you need a guy who can close, and Spieth is one of those guys.
Well, I mean, I have watched all of 3 minutes of golf this year, so I have absolutely no idea. Honestly, like, there's only so many sports I can watch, and if I'm going to choose to watch them, golf is not going to be one of them.
But, yeah, man, so I don't think I work this upcoming weekend, so do we want to have a fight companion or a fight day event?
That would be fun.
That would be fun. I think we do it.
We could live stream it.
I think we give the fans what they want.
I can stream it. I give the fans what they want. So, have you watched any hockey?
None.
You motherfucker. Not even...
None.
No NHL, no college, nothing like that?
Full-time job, can't do it.
Well, okay, guess who also... well, I don't have a full-time job. This is what I do full-time, but whatever. Anyway, dude, fucking... college hockey is the shit. That's all I have to put out there. Number one, the Ralph got to host the fucking NCHC tournament, and the Sioux won like normal. Let's go North Dakota, because what else is new? North Dakota hockey is fucking the shit, so what else is new? And now they're going to go into the tournament, and we can only pray that they don't shit the bed. And they have just some disgusting freshmen this year. And also... a shitload of kids that I coached, they have all played on my Thunder team, and I've coached them just for the normal city league and shit. Every single one of them that I coached that played on a team is going to the state tournament or won state already. Fucking right, dude. That's so, I feel so stoked. It feels so, cool it is? You know how cool it is to watch the kids that you help coach, they skate like you, they do shit that you taught, they do things that it's so, I don't have any kids, but that's the closest thing I have of seeing someone do things that I taught them, and it's just so cool, watching them 4 years later have the same exact stride that I taught them, and the same shot, the same breakouts, the same everything. It's yes guys, fuck yes. And it's 2021, so everything's streamed, so I'm here in Nevada watching all these players in North Dakota and Minnesota play, and it's fucking sweet. It's just really cool. Shout out East Grand Forks and Grand Forks, you guys are the shit. Also Mayville, them too, they did great, and also Fargo and West Fargo, and also Devil's Lake, and a shitload of other kids I can keep naming. They're all doing great. It's cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, coaching, it's exceptional. I mean, I've done it for many years, done it across a few sports, and
isn't it the greatest feeling?
It's nice to see it click with a kid. When you see a kid that learns exceptionally fast, and you're like, I can coach you. You're the one.
What I loved is the kids that I coached, they felt comfortable, because I feel it's because I was younger. I wasn't in my 40s and 50s like the other dads and shit, so I was an actual coach, so that they felt comfortable coming to me about problems that they had, especially if there were issues on the team between each other and shit like that, where a lot of them, their dads are friends, so you can't tell them because it's just going to bring inter-family conflict, and then you got to sit down and talk it out and do all this bullshit. So it's just easier for them to come and say nothing at that point. But when I was coaching, they were really easy to talk to. They were just spectacular kids. That was hard to leave North Dakota, leaving them. That was the hardest part for me.
Man, that's so funny. I coached volleyball for a few weeks, and one of it wasn't the first week that I did, but it was the second week when I started to realize okay, we're going to have to move some, kids around in spots. They're not used to playing. They're 15 years old, so they've already have the habits and grooves filled in. So I put myself in the practice, and I was just putting craters into the court just for about 5 minutes.
Just for about to kids.
Just for a good 5 minutes, let them know. I'm not barking orders, but if you want to play defense, okay, I'm going to bounce the ball 10 feet in front of you.
That is the one thing.
Have fun.
I think that's first practice. So first of all, when I first started coaching this team, and I am not gloating, I'm just saying it's cool to see the progress. But they never won a tournament. They were like the fucking District 5 kids from the goddamn Mighty Ducks. Like they lost a lot of games in tournaments. And I feel like it was just like having someone younger there, and it was nice to. After I got there, we started winning tournaments, won games. They started bringing home trophies and all this other shit, and just the morale of the team would go up. I mean, I had some of them from when they were 7 years old till 12 years old or some shit. Like it was, through some of their more formidable years, and yeah, I don't know. Like I will admit, like when we go to the hotels and shit for the weekends, like I was just as bad as they were in the hotels. Like, Coach, do you want to run down the hall with these fucking luggage carts? Yes. Yes, get a luggage cart. Here, you two hop on. I'll run. And then the fucking hotel person comes around the corner, and I'm like, we're just. Yeah, I don't know. I have nothing. I got nothing. We're racing down the hall with these. I'm 23 years old, just sprinting down the hall with a bunch of 12-year-old kids.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was good stuff. But in the NHL, what is going on? Let me ask you, what's going on in the NHL, Paul? Oh, you don't know? Normal. Okay. So
pucks and goals. That's what's going on.
It's I don't know. Like the fucking Maple Leafs are still on top of the North.
How's Ottawa doing?
Ottawa is at the bottom of the North because
that's what I thought.
Think they've only won 12 games. Yeah, out of the 32 games played this year, or 35 games, that they've won 12. So
that's another big Better Life podcast bet against Ottawa.
I don't understand why they're there.
Just a garbage style team,
dude. Like, there's some. I don't understand why there's some teams where they are. Like, the Florida Panthers need to fucking go. The Lightning can stay. Tampa Bay Lightning, they've had cups. They've had franchise players. They've had hella good teams. Stay. The Panthers, you can't even fill up your stadium, and you're selling tickets on the glass for $5. It's time to go. Go somewhere where the fans want you. Seriously, it's time. And your jersey, no one can draw it, so change that too. It's a stupid jersey. Like, it looks like a fucking soccer jersey. Go to fucking Quebec City, give them the Nordiques back, because that's what they want, and those fans show up and have a good time, because now they're going to have the Seattle Kraken, which I don't know how I feel about yet. I honestly wish they would have threw a team in Milwaukee, since we already have a fucking full-size hockey
Admirals.
arena. It's an NHL arena underneath the Bucks arena. You just take out the court, it's an NHL-sized rink, because we were supposed to get a team that Vegas got. So, there's that. It's like, goddamn, Milwaukee, Milwaukee would have a dope-ass fucking hockey team. They would do...
Oh, and the rivalry between the Midwest would be intense.
It would be dope. Like, Chicago, the Blackhawks versus the Milwaukee...
Detroit.
I don't know, the Milwaukee... We'll just call them the fucking Brewers. We'll just steal the baseball name.
Oh, you could take the AAA team, the Admirals.
No, because the Admirals aren't they would not be at all ready for the fucking big show. Or you mean just name it after them? Just name it after... Oh.
Yeah, just call them the Admirals.
Keep a farm team. Yeah, the Admirals would be a cool name.
I'm about it.
Because there's that Milwaukee station in Milwaukee, so I'm guessing that's why they're the Admirals.
I'll sponsor it.
I'm guessing that's why they're the Admirals in the first place, is because the Navy pretty much owns Milwaukee. Everyone in Wisconsin goes for the Navy. You get to Milwaukee, that's where everything's done. Yeah, I don't know, man. So, fucking... the top of the league is Tampa Bay. Again, where are the...
Surprise.
Yeah, so, Tampa Bay's on top. And who's at the very bottom? Oh, the Buffalo Sabres. Guess why? Because I've already bitched about them. Jack fucking Eichel. How's your 6 wins? 6 wins. And then they go and fire the coaching staff as if that's going to fucking change anything. Like, no. You got to get rid of your front office because they suck. Get rid of that fucking abortion of a captain that you have because Jack is just a piece of garbage. That guy can't skate and can't shoot. He's got like 3 points all year. The fuck? You threw a captainship on him to keep up with a better Canadian above the border. It's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. If an American kid is born and a Canadian kid is born, the Canadian kid will beat him at hockey. It's just nature. It's like if American kids are born and Canadian kids are born, the American's gonna know how to shoot a gun, and the Canadian kid is not. Like it's like bees can make nests without even trying. They just are born and they know how to make the hive. That's just how it is. Okay? Like it's nothing. I don't know. Maybe that's not a good analogy.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is, what BJ Penn said before he was, fighting dudes outside strip clubs, which is birds fly, fish swim, and I fight.
That means nothing to what I just said. That
means everything.
That means absolutely nothing to what I just said.
What? You just went into the existentialism of Canadianism versus Americanism.
Yeah,
and I can't talk about BJ Penn talking about his existential crisis when he retires from MMA.
That has nothing to do with it.
BJ Penn is a fighter.
Yeah, BJ Penn has CTE and needs help because I've seen his tweets. That dude needs to go see a doctor. Okay, that's what he needs. He is a legend, but he needs to see a doctor and get put on some Lexapro. Stabilize that brain a little bit, because motherfucker's got bipolar situations going on for being knocked up in the... like, he's straight up Aaron Hernandez in the next 10 years, or I put my fucking cash on the table. That's just what's going on.
Support BJPenn.com.
BJPennsupport.com. I like that one more. Because it's more like a support group then. I feel like we're involved more.
Oh man, you can't go against the prodigy like that.
I feel like we're involved in the I feel like we're more... He comes to my house, I fucking heard you were talking shit, and I just get strangled out and thrown over the balcony.
He could kill you in more ways than you know how to die.
He would show up with just the newspaper, and I would get it like shoved down my throat, and I would just die. Or he would give me paper cuts through my neck until I got my neck cut.
That guy was so unbelievably talented, but just had everything ruined for him just on the trajectory of his career. I mean, he fought Lyoto Machida at 205, and he was somehow the 155-pound champ. Can we think about that?
Did he ever, didn't he have, like...
Fought George St. Pierre for the original champ fight that he lost.
So, okay, no. He wasn't in... So, does he have Israel on his team, BJ Penn?
Israel Adesanya?
Yeah.
No. He's from Hawaii. He's in the Max Holloway camp.
But like, I'm confused because he was somehow linked to like the PED accusations against Israel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about that. I mean, BJ's always had these crazy, wild accusations against him in the later part of his career. Israel's had some PED accusations against him as of recently. Same with Costa. I mean, I'm not sure what exactly the accusations are, but man, can't disrespect what Prodigy did. Can't disrespect. I mean, it's one of the things I like about Izzy is he's come out and he said, "Yeah, I mean, I tried to beat Jan. It's not going to go well. I mean, it didn't go well, and now I'm back at 185. Who's next?" The guy goes back to work. Brought his lunchbox.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to just take it on the chin and move on. You can't linger on that shit, otherwise you end up like fucking Ronda Rousey. You're gone for 2 years and you come back thinking you're hot and you get your ass whooped in the first fucking minute.
Yeah,
that's actually
sad.
So
do we let's do a live weigh-in podcast. How does that sound? Where we watch the weigh-in.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. We can talk about the fights as they come in. That's Friday morning.
Right. What time?
Between Central Time, 8 and 10. So 9 and 11 in the East.
That I
7 and 9 in the West.
I'm not going to be able to make that happen. I can tell you why off air. But I'm not going to be able to make that happen.
All right. Well, why don't we kill this thing?
Okay, we can kill it. Oh, we got to talk about Zack Snyder.
No, we don't. We can save that for the next one.
Just real quick.
Save it for the next one. That's a 4-hour movie.
I just want to talk about Batman killing people. That's all I want to talk about.
Let's do it next time, bud. I don't want to do that.
Fine. All right, this is.
Let me watch that thing again. It's 4 hours. I watched that movie over 3 sittings.
It's been better life with Jake and Paul. It's been real.
Speak up. What'd you say? What was that?
It's been better life with Jake and Paul.
I'll sign off.
And-
This has been Better Life with Jake and Paul. It's been an absolute treasure. For those of you who love what we do, please support the Patreon. You can find that under the surname of Jake Ryder, Rider, Jake Ryder.
Now I'm gonna set up a different one for us pretty soon here. Don't worry, there'll be one
Hey.
soon. So
Support what we do here.
appreciate all the new
Because we love
listeners. We love you guys, and we will fucking see you guys probably next week or in a couple days or whatever we feel like. See you later.